Hey guys, and welcome to this new weekly review. So let's start with dollar index as always. So if we look at it on the daily, if you remember, there is still two possibilities and we still don't know which one will happen. So the first one is that this is an impulse. We have a 1, 2, 3 expanding flat and we're going for another impulse. That's a possibility. Or the other one is that this is the top, this is the impulse, we are making a big correction right here and we are going down for another impulse after. So that's pretty much it, what you need to know on the daily. Now if we go on the 4 hour, as you can see, we either made a start of a bigger correction or an impulse. And so if we are going to get a impulse, we will need to make a bigger correction right here, so more something like this before it goes up. And if it's a correction, it will be maybe a little bit deeper, more like this before it goes up another time. So if we go back on the 1 hour, what we can see, the structure is pretty clear what it is doing for this week. So we have a really nice structure. So we got the impulse, we have an impulse, we have a flag, impulse, flag, impulse, and now here we are getting a bigger correction. We are at the trend, which is a nice sign. And we also have right now a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can expect this probably to break out for this week. So more downside, I think, for the dollar index for the week. If it will go upside, it will have to do something like this. So a breakout, a flag, and after it will be the upside, right? So either the downside, we will get an impulse like this, we'll get a flag right here, and after it will continue downside, or either the upside. So both are possible, but as it is right now, it's looking a lot more downside than upside. Euro USD, it's making a correction, very simple as well, as you can see. So last week we were right here at the bottom. I was thinking about breaking the top and after reversing because I was looking at a expanding flat. So we broke the top, but we never reversed. So now what can happen, and what I'm looking at, is I think that we're actually making a very big correction right here at the top, and we can either make another small up right here and go another down to make a bigger 1, 2, 3, which is very possible. But we can also break out like this and go and break the top. Now I don't think that this one will happen because it's not a very big correction compared to all of this big impulse, right? This is the main impulse, this will be the main correction. So I don't think anymore that we're going down, right? It's not looking as an impulse, it's a correction, it's very clear. So if we go down on the 4 hour, it's really clear also what we're getting right now. So we have all of this is either the full correction or the first wave. We broke the correction and we're getting a flag on the 4 hour. So what you need to wait for is a breakout. So when we'll get an impulse and we'll get a flag, that will be the moment to actually take this trade for the upside. And either it will break the daily top or either will stop. We can actually put a Fibonacci to see where it can go. Oops. Okay, here from here, and as you can see, we have a nice 27 or even a 618 at the very top, but more than 27 is possible. So either we're going to break the top like this and continue for the next impulse, or either we're probably going to get there and after start another downside. So be careful with this one, but it's a nice setup as it is right now. We don't have the buy confirmation yet, but wait, because the setup is looking very nice. GBP USD, we're still in that big correction, right? If you watched the educational video I did yesterday about the step-by-step way to do your analysis, you remember that we talked about this being an impulse, and all of this is simply a correction that is taking some time. So we're still inside that, there's nothing much to add. We are crawling up very slowly. The best thing that will happen, that could happen, is that we continue to crawl up like this and we break the top, so it will be a 1, 2, 3 correction, and right here at the same time we will have kind of a channel at the top. So when we will break this, it will be a very nice sell setup. We don't have to break the top. It can still make another pattern like a 1, 2, 3 contracting flat, and after I go down. So we don't have to break the top, so don't assume that we're going to break it. It's only a possibility. So the plan for this is very simple. We have our trend right here, so you can just wait for something like this or for a breakout, and after a flag right here, and if it breaks this, you can get the trade. But I think there's also a lot of chance that we actually go and break the top right here. So wait for the setup. Now it's not there, it's even looking more upside, right? We're actually getting a flag for more upside. So you can take the trade if you want. I will not take this small buy because, like I said, it can just break the top, make another one, and go very slow like this. So it's not the type of trade that I like to take, but we still have the setup. So if you want to buy short term, there's the setup right here. AUD USD, it's so it went down. Last week I bought right here because I was looking at this being an impulse, this being the correction, and that we were actually going back up to make a bigger correction. So we made another down. There's no problem with that. We just made a correction right here, and after we went down, so it's all good. And now we are actually at the bottom. We still have a lot of divergence. And if you look at it on the 4-hour, so let's go on the daily just to show you the two possibilities that this thing has. Either we make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or either this is the top of this big correction and we're going down. So these are the two possibilities. Now we don't know yet which one we'll have, but if you look at this, if we are going down right here, and if it's the start of the big downside, we need to get a bigger correction because all of this will only be considered as one impulse, and we need to get something a lot bigger, something like this. So that's why I was looking to buy right here, but we are going lower right now. There's no problem with that. We're still going to get the bigger correction or the impulse up. For now we cannot be sure. So if you look at it on the 1 hour, we just made another down, and right here we're maybe starting to make a correction, right? It's not that clear what we're making right now, but if we start to do something like this, right, it will be probably the start of a bigger correction. So yes, so for this week I think we have more upside. I don't think we're actually going to break once again this low. If we do, if for example this is just a flag and we're actually going like this, it will be short term because, like I just said, we need to get a bigger correction, and I think it's ready to do so. So be careful with selling this. We're already at the bottom, so I think it's a better idea to look for a buy, but for now there's no setup, so just wait for a setup and you can take the trade after. NZD USD, it's making a flag right here. I'm still looking to short this. Maybe I'll get a chance right here. As you can see, we're making a flag and we broke the flag, and we're making a very small flag right here. So if we get something a little bigger, so something like this, right, this will be a very nice trade for the downside. So I'm watching this. There's also a possibility that we go up on the long term. Let me show you this. If you look at it on the daily, we also talked about this on the last educational video I did that I talked about before. But there's a possibility that this is actually big correction in the middle and we're actually going back up. So this will be, in this case, an expanding flat. So it's still possible that we get another wave, and if we get this, it will become a bigger 1, 2, 3 correction, right? So this is still possible. Now I'm still looking for a downside as it is right now because we don't have any sign of upside. For a upside trade, you will need to actually wait for a breakout of here and a flag right here, and this will confirm the big upside, or at least the bigger correction right here. So for now we can still look for a downside because we have not broken the trend. We're still very low and making correction. So if we get a breakout of this, it can be potential nice trade, but be careful though, because as you can see, we are also getting some divergence and some overbought. So it can be pretty risky because we're already at the low end. It can reverse, but if the setup is there, you can take the trade. USDN, I think we're finally going back up, right? We were going down very slowly for the last 2 weeks, I think. So if you look at it on the 4 hour, there's nothing crazy, right? We have the impulse and we're getting a pullback right now. I don't think that it's all the correction, only this. I think we're actually going back up right now, and after we'll get maybe another down. But we can definitely look for upside this week, and we're very close to get this confirmation. Why? Because we reached a nice Fibonacci level. So now after we reversed after reaching the level, we have oversold, we have divergence, and we have the impulse, right? So if we get a flag, that's the only thing we need now. And if we break the flag, this will be a very nice trade for the upside. So it can go pretty fast or pretty slow. If it goes more like this, it will be more a correction and we'll get another wave down. Or if it goes very fast, it can also be the start of the big impulse, but I don't think it will be that fast because this is not a complete pattern as it is right now. So I think we'll get more correction, but we can still look for upside this week on USDN and get a very nice trade. So if you're not in this trade, wait for the flag. Okay, USD CAD, I'm in this trade right now. I'm only risking 0.2%, so it's a very small risk, right? So why I took this trade? Because I think, well, it's pretty clear, right? I think you can all see that we have an impulse, we have a correction, we have an impulse. So if it goes from now, it's still possible that we go down from where it is, by the way, because we have an impulse, we have a 1, 2, 3, and we can go down like this. So there's a lot of scenario that how this can develop. So let me show you all of them. So if it goes like this and start to go down, it will depend on how fast it goes. If it goes more like this and very fast and we get a flag right here, it's the breakout of the correction and we're going down. But if it goes more slowly like this, it's probably going to go back up, and here it will be a bigger correction in the middle before it go back up. And if we get this, if we get one more up, after that it will look a lot more like a 1, 2, and maybe another wave down for a correction, right? So we're probably not going down for the long term because the correction is very deep, and when you get deep correction like this, usually it's because it's actually making a bigger correction. So be careful with this one. I'm still in this trade, even if my stop loss get hit, I really don't care. It's 0.2%, right? It's practically no risk at all. And so if I get stopped out, it will break the top. Eventually it will probably reverse, right? So just wait for an impulse and a flag if it breaks the top and doesn't go from where it is right now, because eventually this will go. It's only a matter of time. So like I said, either we make something bigger here, go back up and go down after, or either we start crawling up like this and eventually it will break down like this, we'll get a flag, and this will be the trade. So it's only a matter of time to go down. I took the trade because I thought it was actually ready to go down, but maybe it's not ready, as you can see. So we don't know now yet for sure what will happen, but we have all of these possibilities that I just showed you guys. So be careful with this one. It can be a nice trade to look for and to continue looking for. USD CHF, so we are, let me show you on the 4 hour. We are making a correction right here. So all of this is the impulse. We have a small one right here. We have another impulse, but all of this will only be one impulse in the end, because I think that here it's actually making the main correction. So as you can see, we maybe have the first wave down. It can break out like this and continue up for sure, but I don't think that this will happen. It's a little bit like USDN. I think we actually have more correction to go, right? Something bigger right here in the middle before it go up. So if you look at it on the 1 hour, we are actually, I'm not sure yet what it is. I think it's actually making a bigger correction right here once again. So you can maybe look for one more down if you get the confirmation of this. So you will need to, and by the way, it doesn't have to break this top. We can break the top and it will make a 1, 2, 3. But we can also not break the top and make a contracting flat, for example. So after this, you are going to look for an impulse, a flag right here, and if we get the breakout of this, we're going to get another down, and you'll be able to put out a Fibonacci from here to here, probably going there. Or if we're going back from where if we're going up from where it is right now, which is also possible, we are going to get a flag right here, and this will be up. But be careful, because even if we get this flag, it can just break the top and reverse after. So it depends on where the flag is. The best scenario for a upside, it will be to break the top first and after get the flag. So that will confirm the upside, sorry. Yeah, I said downside, I think. Well, upside. But even if we get this, the room for the upside is very small, because I think that we're actually going to de-stop soon enough, and after we'll get another down. So it's probably not the best setup for this week. I prefer the downside because we have more potential to go right. The upside is very small, so be careful with this one. If you get a setup, you can still take it, but I don't think it will be actually the best pair for this week. Euro AUD, we are making a correction right here. So we broke this last up. I think it was it? Let me just check. I think it was last week. I'm not sure though. Okay, no, it was not last week, or maybe it was. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. So we broke the top right here. After we are getting a correction right here at the top. So we broke last week. Now we're getting a correction, and if you look at it on the daily, I can actually remove this and this. So there is a lot of possibility that this way and this thing can develop. So let me show you all the possibilities. Either we have this impulse, 1, 2, 3 expanding flat to go back up. That's a possibility. Either the correction right here is not finished, or we're getting 1, 2, and we'll get 3. And after we'll go back up. So these are the two main possibilities on the daily. So this thing can either continue to go up or continue to go down. So it will be the strategy to trade this will be pretty simple. So we have the impulse right here, we have a 1, 2, 3 right here. So either all of this is the correction and this is the next impulse. So if it's the case here, we'll get a flag before it go up, so more downside. Or either, like I said before, this can be a 1, 2, 3 and we are going down. So let's go down on the 1 hour, and as you can see, we are starting to make a big correction, a bigger correction I think. Now it's very small, right? It's just starting, so we cannot tell what it is right now. I think it will actually develop for the rest of the week and even maybe in the next couple of weeks. So we also have divergence and overbought. So these are a very good sign that we are actually maybe starting to make a correction. So either we make a correction for more upside, or another possibility I think is that it can make a channel right here at the top, and if we get that, we're probably going to get a big time downside to get that third wave down on the daily like I just showed you before. So yeah, I don't think we're actually going to get a nice trade on this pair for the week, so it's probably not the best pair to follow. Euro NZD, we broke the top as well, so two things can happen. It's very similar to the Euro AUD. If we look at it on the daily, there's also two things that can happen. Either we go big down to make a bigger 1, 2, 3 here before it go up, or either all of this is the correction and we're going up, which is also a possibility. So if you look at it on the 4 hour, two things can happen. I think that it's time to make a either small flag right here, well, more a correction than a flag, right, to go up after, or we are going down, we'll get more something like this here, we'll get a correction, and that will be the trade for downside. So for this week, we don't have much indication about what it is doing. If you look at it on the 1 hour though, we have a nice we have a very nice setup for actually the short-term trader. If you're trading on the very short term, like 15 minutes, it's a really nice setup. We have an impulse, we have a flag right here, so we can take this trade. I don't think it will break the top. I think it will, the chances are high that it makes more something like this and after start to go back down. So the room is not that big, but your stop loss will be also pretty close, right? So it can be a nice trade if you're trading on the short term. And I think for this week, Euro and ZD, we're actually going to get a bigger correction. Or a downside, it depends. Both are possible. Euro, yeah, I really like this setup. So I was short right here last week. I was short right here last week. I took my profit right here, I think. So I could have made a lot more, but it's part of the game. I still made a nice profit though. So I think I made on this 0.8% if I remember correctly. So you know, it's still a nice trade. So let's go back on the daily, no, 4 hour. Yeah, we'll see better on 4 hour. So either all of this is making a big correction in the middle, which I think now it's making. We also have divergence, by the way, so it's another good sign. I was actually looking when it dropped like this very hard. I was looking at this being the very top of the pattern. This is an impulse, 1 2 3, going down, and here if we would have got a flag and break the flag, that would have been the confirmation of the big downside. But now, as you can see, we got a big impulse up on the 1 hour, and we're actually getting a flag right here. So I think that all of this is, like I just showed you before, a correction, and I think we're going back up for another impulse. So this can be a very nice trade if we get the breakout of the flag. I would like to see something a little bigger though, so you know, maybe something like this, just a little bigger, and after we are going up. But even if we break right here, it's still, this will be still the flag, and this is the breakout. So you can look for a buy setup. The room for the upside is pretty big, right, compared to the stop loss, or right here, depends on how you like to put it. But the room for the upside is pretty big, so it's a very nice setup as it is right now for this week. So you can watch for this. Euro GBP, so it's going down, but I'm not sure yet if the big down is starting. If you remember, all of this is our impulse. We have a big correction in the middle right here, and we are going eventually to get another impulse. Now the question is, are we going to break the top before going down? So we cannot be sure of that for now, as it is right now. So two things can happen. If we break like this, get a flag here, we are going to break the top, and that will be 1 2 3 4 5, and after we are going down, which will be the best scenario. I will prefer this to break the top before it go down. Or either here, if we get a bigger flag, we are probably going down from where it is. So it can be a very nice trade, by the way, because if I'm not very interested in the buy, because if we get this and the flag, I'll have to buy right here, and we are very close to the top, right? So it's not a very nice trade, but if we get the flag and the breakout for the downside, it's a very big trade, because if you look at it on the daily, we are actually going either, I think, to this level or even to break the low. It's also possible to go and break this low. So we have a lot of room for the downside. So the downside is the most important thing to look for. Right now, as it is, we don't have any confirmation, either upside or downside. So if we get a bigger correction right here, it's downside, or if we get an impulse and a flag, it's upside. GBPN, so I was in this trade for 4 weeks, I think. I finally have been able to close the trade, so I took the short right here at the top when it broke the flag, and I closed my trade yesterday right here. So I made a very nice profit. I think I made 1.6% or 1.8, I'm not sure, but I made a pretty decent profit on this one. So it was a really nice trade. Now the reason why I took out my trade at this place are many. First of all, I was looking at this being all of this will be the correction, and I was looking at this going down as an impulse, right, to at least this level. As you can see, we never got this impulse, right? We made a very nice channel. So if we look more closely in this channel, we actually have an impulse, 1, 2, 3 expanding flat. We have an impulse, 1, 2, 3 contracting, and we have an impulse, right? So all of this will create the big channel, and here is just a pullback, by the way. So all of this is our big channel, and when it reached that level of 27, I decided to take out my trade because I think we're actually going to break this up once again. To make more, I'll show you what I think. So we're going back up like this, so that will be an impulse, 1, 2, 3, and after we'll go down, and all of this will be a big correction on the daily. So I'm looking for more upside, and I think now with this move it's actually very soon to be confirmed. If we get this, and now we just need the flag, and when we'll get the flag we'll be able to take this trade, and it will go up, I think, like this, pretty strong after. So if you're still in this sell, you can stay in for now, but if you see a flag and you break out of the flag, you definitely get out of the trade, because we are also having divergence and oversold, by the way. So we have a lot of indication, whether it's the structure, the trend lines, the RSI, the Fibonacci, basically everything is telling us upside on the short midterm. So if you're still in the sell, be careful, I think it's going up. And if you want to buy like me, you can wait for a flag, and if we get the breakout of the flag, I will buy. And of course, guys, anyway, I will let you know when I take the trade in the trading group, right? So you can be in the same exact trade as me, because I will give you all the information when I take the trade in the trading group. Okay, GBP AUD. GBP AUD, so we are still going up. I think now it's really close to the top, right? I never thought we will actually go that fast. So this was the main correction, and now it's going up. I thought that right here we will get another down like this before it go, but we didn't get it, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. So all of this is just a pullback, and we're going back up. So I think we're going back to break the top. Why is that? Because on the daily, we, I think, are making a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and after we'll go down. So we are going to break the top. We can actually put a trend line right here. So I'm not interested in the buy, right, because the room for the upside is very small. I think it can also just pull back like this, make a flag before it goes up, but when it will break the top, be very careful, because I think it will go down. We have a lot of indication. First of all, we have the structure, the RSI is showing us overbought, divergence. So there's a lot of things that tell us downside. So I'm not interested in the buy. So we're probably going to get this, and after another up, but eventually we'll break down like this. And when we'll get the flag right here, this will be a very nice trade for the downside and for big time downside, like I just showed you on the daily. So for this week, I think we are actually going to make at least a little flag. So I don't think we'll get any good trade on this pair. GBP CHF, we are at the top. It's the exact same pattern as GBP AUD, but this one already broke the top. But I think it can also go more upside like this, and actually make a channel right here at the top. Another one will also be possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So it can, after this, make another down or make the down move. Both are possible. If you look at it on the 1 hour, I think it's actually going back up, right? It's going back up very slowly, but I think it's going back up. It can also just reach this level and after it come down. That will be 1, 2, 3 expanding flat, or either 1, 2, 3 reverse, depend on if it breaks the top or not. So it can also go down, but even if we go down, I don't think that the big downside is actually starting, because this could also be just a bigger correction right here before we start to go back up. So be careful with this one. I don't think it will be the best setup. If you want to trade this pair for this week, actually you can wait for a breakout of this and a flag right here to trade this down. It can also break the top, like I said, before going down. It doesn't really matter which one it will do because both ways are making a valid pattern. So that's pretty much it for this pair. Upside right now, there's no buy setup. If you want to, if we get a flag right here, you can maybe take a buy, but like I said, when it will break the top, put it at break even because it can reverse very fast after. So be careful with this pair. It's not the best for this week. AUD yen, we are going down very strongly, so two things can either happen right now. Either here it's making an expanding flat and we're going up, which I think is possible, or either all of this is a big correction and it's finished and we're going down. Now if we look at the other yen pair, which for example USD yen, I'm expecting a bigger upside on USD yen on the daily. So I don't think that AUD yen is actually ready for the downside. I think it's more ready to go upside. So if, right here that will be an expanding flat, but for now we cannot be sure. So you just need to wait as it is right now. If we get a flag right here, it's definitely downside, so you can take the trade because the room is very big, like I just showed you. And if it's upside, we're probably going to get an impulse here and a small flag right here on the 1 or 4 hour, and after it will be the start of the upside. So if we go down right now on the 1 hour, we don't have much indication, right? It's only starting to crawl up very slowly. We have some divergence and oversold though, so it depends on how it crawl up. If it makes something like this, it's downside, and if it makes more something like this, it's upside. So wait for one of them. You can also put a trend line to look for a breakout, so something like this, right? So we are actually at the trend line right now, and you can look for a either breakout or a bigger correction. So that's pretty much it for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed this weekly review, and so as always, trade with care, manage your money well, and make sure to wait for a confirmation of all setup before you take a trade. You don't want to take a trade just because you think it will go somewhere, right? Always wait for a confirmation and a strong indication that the trade is actually going your way. And as always, try to manage your money, your risk, and optimize your risk reward the best way you can. So that's it for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.